Hi, Kurt McCullough of Hot House Realty here. Today I want to speak to you about the process of buying a home. Not just any purchase, mind you. That would be too easy. Today I want to talk to you about the most complex and confusing transaction there is in real estate, and that is the double sale. In other words, selling your current home and buying another. Just about every week I speak to a client or prospect who finds themselves in this very situation, and most of them don't fully understand the process or the choices they have to make. And who can blame them? There really are no set of rules or guidelines out there to follow, especially since no two homes or situations are ever the same. But I'm going to at least try to explain this process in a way that hopefully makes some sort of sense. So let me start out by saying that you have four options or routes that can be taken. Option number one is by far the easiest, but it's not the best option or even an option at all for some buyers. And that is to buy your future home first. Going that route allows you to take your time and to choose the very best home for you, period. It also relieves a ton of stress by not having to coordinate two simultaneous sales on the very same day and having only 1 or 2 days to move your possessions into your future home. In our current market, that is by far the best option if you have the financial capacity or security to pull it off. Most often, this is the preferred choice by homeowners that have a ton of equity in their home or have no mortgage at all and can easily secure a home equity line of credit or a new mortgage to purchase the future home. An explanation of option number two should be brief because it's not really an option at all, not in today's market, which is guided, of course, by low levels of inventory and is generally considered to be a seller's market, at least in the low to mid price points. What I'm referring to is the first right of refusal offer. It's essentially a purchase agreement on a home, but the offer is contingent upon the sale of the buyer's current home. Well, you say that's not unusual, and it's not. But in this case, the buyer's current home is not yet under contract, otherwise known as pending, and may not even be on the market yet. So in essence, this buyer is asking the seller to take a leap of faith that their current home will get on the market quickly and sell quickly. And once it does, the first right contingency can then be removed and the sale can proceed as it normally would. Of course, the purchase is still contingent upon the buyer's sale of their current home, but at least that home is now pending. The biggest drawback for sellers to accept this kind of offer is that it hangs a scarlet letter around their neck. They would have to update their status online to active first right. That moniker tells every other buyer out there that if they were to successfully negotiate an accepted offer with these sellers, the first buyers, the ones with the active first right agreement, would have a certain amount of time to remove the first right contingency, essentially kicking the second buyers to the curb. But here's what you may not know. When a property changes its listing status to pending with showings or active first right, future showings on that property effectively dry up. Virtually no one wants to see a home in pending or active first right status, which is why, of course, most agents tell their seller clients not to negotiate or accept a first right offer. Of course, there are always exceptions to that rule. If the home is unique, pricey, or it's been on the market a really long time, basically any circumstance that would cause a lack of showings to begin with, then a listing agent may recommend to that seller to roll the dice for a short while and negotiate a first right offer. Other factors that come into play are the time of year. What I mean by that is the buyer proposing a first right offer in November, say on the 9th month of the listing, or are they making this offer in March, usually a great time of the year to sell a home on, say, the first 2 weeks of it being on the market? You get my point. Finally, the price, style, and location of the buyer's current home has to be taken into consideration. Basically, you want to know how quickly we think it'll take for the buyers to sell their current home. Okay, on to option number three. This one happens to be chosen most often, especially in a balanced or a buyer's market. This scenario is to list your current home, get it under contract, and then negotiate a purchase agreement on your future home. Usually that entails closing both homes on the same day back to back. As you can imagine, there are both pros and cons to this approach. First, the pros. Without a doubt, this is the safest choice financially. It prevents you from carrying two mortgages for an unknown period of time. And another pro, well, come to think of it, that's the only positive about this approach. Okay, now on to the cons. First and foremost, get ready for a lot of stress. Not financial stress, but the stress of coordinating two sales at the same time, to inspections, getting estimates on repairs, coordinating movers, and numerous other issues you can't even think of until you actually encounter them. Basically, there are a lot of moving parts to this scenario. For instance, before you even list your home, you have to really know the micro market for the home you want to buy. In fact, you should have already seen in person all of your favorites and possibilities in your future home search. So if you were to sell your home quickly, you know which home to make an offer on. Of course, in this market, it really is tough to find and buy a great home. The best ones sell so quickly. You really have to have and be hyper-focused on your future home search. Okay, back to the listing of your current home. If you're able to do it, I highly recommend negotiating a slightly later closing date, say 45 days or more, to close on your current home. That will provide a little extra additional time to find your next home and get under contract. I'm sure you'll agree, the very worst thing you can do is to settle for something less than what you truly want for your future home, just because you're out of time and you have to make a quick choice. Trust me, you do not want to go down that road. Another factor to consider when negotiating the sale of your current home is to fight for at least 3 to 4 days possession after closing. That will give you more freedom when negotiating the future home. Remember, not all homes are vacant where possession at closing is a given. Sometimes to get a deal done, you have to provide sellers with 1 to 3 days possession. So having that flexibility when shopping for your next home can take away the stress of worrying about what to do with your belongings for 1 to 3 days or the extra burden and cost of moving those items twice. But a capable experienced real estate agent can guide you through this process and greatly increase your odds for success. The fourth and final option is to sell your current home and get into a 6-month to 1-year lease, either in an apartment or a home. At that point, you will no longer have a contingency to worry about, and you can really take your time to find your next dream home. Of course, that is not always the best choice, especially for families or anyone that really truly hates moving, but still it's an option. Okay, that's all I have for today. Now on to my shameless plug. If you or anyone you know is in the market to buy or sell a home, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about it. My cell phone number is 317-201-7676. Or if it's easier, you can email me at homes@kurtmccullough.com, which you can find on my newsletter or website. Once again, thanks for your support and your referrals. Have a great month.